You're recording too frequently.
Welcome back to a live reaction edition of the Night Report podcast. I'm your host, Mike Broadbent. Joining me once again are my co-hosts, Richie O'Leary. And yes, this was not expected this late in the evening tonight. Because I mean, we expected these moves to be made. We expected multiple defensive staff moves to be made, but for those who are just catching up, Football Scoop actually broke this news tonight that Rutgers would be parting ways with Robb Smith, with co-DC and linebackers coach Zach Sparber, and defensive line coach Colin Ferrell. Guys, we had talked a lot about how we expected these moves to be made shortly after signing day, because typically those things just don't happen ahead of guys signing. But just give your high-level reaction to these defensive staff moves, and could we be seeing more along the way coming up? Or, Rich, I'll let you start.
Oh, stop, guys. No, don't go. Come back. Insert that little meme there. Yeah, no, Robb Smith, I feel like we called it when he got hired at this point.
Yeah.
Twice fired, twice hired, or what was it? Like, it's not technically, it's not 3 times fired because I think the first time was with Flood, right?
What did Brightman call it? It was like the 3 tread instead of a retread.
Yeah, the
That
3
was
tread.
an elite pull by him. So shout out
It,
Aaron Brightman.
it's just like we saw that one coming from a mile away. I'm a little shocked by Sparber though, just because his contract was a 3-year contract. It sounded like they
Yeah.
kind of had him as like a
Let's
DC in waiting type of thing. So it was kind of like a little shocking.
let's hold the contract stuff because I think that's a huge part of this.
Okay, and then
But just like
go on.
yeah.
Sorry,
No,
the last
you
one
go.
was Colin Ferrell, and we kind of sort of saw this one coming. I mean, the defensive line, let's be honest, hasn't really been good since probably Jim Panagos at this point.
Rutgers has not had a defensive player break the 5 sack mark since Julian Penix Odrick in
That's
2015 or 2016.
so I don't
Unreal.
even who was the coach back then. I don't even know. D-line coach for Flood, right? Or yeah, right? Was that Flood 2015 or was that Chris Ash's first year?
That was, I think, Flood's final year. I don't know.
That was
I think
Flood.
I've suppressed
Yeah.
a lot of those bad memories.
I need to look up who the D-line coach was back then because I feel like Panagos was under Flood too, wasn't he? Am I wrong on that?
I believe. Yeah.
Either way, Panagos was there for the first 2 years under Schiano, and that's when the defensive line actually looked decent, but it really hasn't looked anything decent since then. 2015 was his last year with Flood, and then he returned with Schiano in 2020. So look at that. Back to Jim Panagos once again. Guy was a hell of a coach. Would bring him back in a heartbeat. I think he's defensive tackles coach at Kansas still, which is just a weird job for a Pittsburgh guy specifically. Brooklyn, New York native. Like, yeah, very weird. Also not a Pittsburgh guy. I'm an idiot. I'm thinking Frank Signetti for some reason. I feel like they look like each other kind of. But yeah, but between the 3 of them, we kind of knew Farrell was done because he was contract was done. We kind of knew Smith was done because historically the worst defense this century.
You can't bring that guy back, yeah.
And then Sparber was a shocking one. That's really it. But hot boards are coming soon, just so everyone knows. I got them ready, but I got to tweak them a little bit.
Richie has been pruning his hot lists for how long now? Months?
It's not.
Maybe not months, but you've been getting these things ready.
Yeah. I mean, you saw the defense early on, and it was like, oh, time to get this one ready.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I have to edit some things here and there, but we'll have them out to you probably in the morning. Maybe no war room. Maybe I'll just swap it with hot boards. 3 new hot boards. Boom.
Love it. Alec, high-level thoughts on these staff moves by Greg Schiano? We have a silent boy.
Okay. I've been a little bit busy doing the writer duties, but yeah, these are some moves that kind of had to happen because the struggles on defense this year were historic. This is something that you had been on for much of the final, few weeks of the year. The yards per play, one of the worst in the century in the Big Ten. It
The
just
worst.
looked like, yeah, the worst.
By
Yeah,
far.
yeah, exactly. It wasn't even close. So it seemed like every single unit kind of took a step back. The defensive line had been struggling in recent years, like you guys mentioned. The linebackers, which was supposed to be the reason Sparber was here, also kind of took a step back over the last year. And then just the defense as a whole, there was just so many things that went wrong with it. We've already hashed it out, so I feel like don't need to repeat all of it. We've already been hashing it out all season, but yeah, this is just a move that had to happen. And I mean, I'm surprised that it came out, Thursday night at 11 o'clock, but this is something that had to happen. Get a clean, and also getting a
Are you
clean,
surprised?
not really, but
This
I'm
this
surprised.
is so strategic. Like,
Whatever. I mean, I'm surprised that it happened this late at night. I'm not surprised that happened that, close after signing day. But anyways,
I do.
yeah. Letting go of Sparber also lets it just get a clean break. You don't have any
Yeah.
ties to the former defensive coordinators, and yeah, go ahead, Mike.
No, I do wonder if, because like we kind of alluded to, if that football scoop broke it if you follow anything Rutgers football, any big announcement is always broken by Pete Thamel. It's like this symbiotic relationship that Greg has with him, that he gives him the news. And I'm sure, there's some information sharing there. But since it was broken by football scoop, I do wonder if then, if Greg didn't want it out tonight, if he was planning on announcing like that tomorrow or another day, because I'm not convinced that this is the full list of coaches that will be not at Rutgers anymore. Because I mean, there was a lot of negative things that happened this year, and I mean, Vic Hall was a Sparber, or sorry, a Robb Smith guy, and the safety play was atrocious this year. Um, Julian Campagna, I mean, we didn't really get anything out of the defensive ends, and I don't know. I think this might not be the end of the staff shakeup. I'll say.
it wouldn't
We'll see
shock
the
me.
indication there.
Yeah, it wouldn't shock me, especially Campany, because I was looking up like just some stats, and I mean, he's been here for 2 years now at Rutgers, and last year it was a total of 9 sacks. This year it was a total of 7 sacks. This is strictly from defensive ends, mind you, but
Jeez.
2.5 sacks was the leading guy on defense this year with sacks. Like, and it was Eric O'Neill with 2.5. It was Bradley Weaver with 2.5. Like, what are we talking about? This is a Big Ten football team, and you have 2.5.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, O'Neill had a good year, but like, come on, 2.5.
Yeah, it's pretty unbelievable.
Anyway,
Now, you alluded to this, Richie, and this is the kind of the most interesting part of this is the contract situation. Not necessarily for Colin Ferrell, not necessarily for Robb Smith. Robb Smith was gone regardless of, what his contract stated. But Zach Sparber, I am a little surprised they are letting him go, because we were absolutely flabbergasted when his contract actually came out and was, in the FOIA portal. Because he was signed to a 3-year deal worth like $2.4 million. So he was making almost $800K a year for a guy who last year he was at JMU as the linebackers coach. JMU's defensive coordinator, Lyle Hemphill, last year made $200K. So why did you feel the need to overpay that much for a guy who had 1 year of experience as a position coach in the FBS? Just still boggles my mind. And I am a little surprised that Greg is letting him go as quickly as he is, but maybe it was just so untenable that like it was so clear it wasn't going to work regardless of what role he had. But the Sparber portion of this is the thing I'm most surprised by. What do you guys think?
100%, but it's a lot worse than you think. So James Madison does publish their contracts.
Oh boy.
According to this is the USA Today, Zach Sparber in 2024 made $108,000.
Oh my goodness.
Now
So
I
he
know
got a
he
7x raise because he was going to be the DC at JMU most likely. Oh my goodness. That's absurd.
Yes, you're right. So
we need to get his agent's contact information, because I need him negotiating everything in my life.
You're not kidding. Now that's a lot of money to him.
Yeah, so
It's
with
just
his
lost in there.
contract, yeah, so he made 700,000 this year, and the rest of the contract will be 1.5 million.
Now he
So
was
Rutgers will be on the hook
again.
for it.
He was definitely going to be. Well, I shouldn't say definitely. He was more than likely going to be the DC at James Madison. So you had to steal him away from that. I also think in Greg's mind, he gave him a 3-year deal versus Smith's 2-year deal for the sole fact that, hey, I can get Robb in here. He could teach him a little bit. All right, then year 2, like Robb can teach him a little more, and then kind of groom him to be like, all right, it's year 3, like Robb, like time to step aside, let the young buck take over. And that's why he was getting paid so much. But like, it's like Wyatt Hemphill, who was the DC last year, was getting 260.
That's
So like,
absurd.
even if he got the DC job at James Madison, it would have been like you
He's-
probably could have given him 400 and he would have still took it.
Man, that's
Oh, that's a bad one. I didn't realize how bad. It's worse than I
astounding.
thought.
It's astounding. And man, good for you. Good for you, Zach Sparber. Invest that money, man.
Yeah, I'm kidding.
Unreal. I'm going to drop the link if you'd like to join us on stage to discuss these staff changes. But
Do we know if Texas A&M has their contracts publicly available
They do 1.1
for?
Mile Hemphill.
Okay, so
Lyle Hempel's
we're
not
on the
even a
same
position
page.
coach. He's like a senior defensive staffer or something.
Senior associate
exactly.
head coach of defense. Whatever fuck that means.
Man, that is
That's fuck
that's
you
a
money.
deal.
That's
Their
what it
defensive
is.
coordinator is still Jay Bateman. So yeah, I'm not really sure what
Yeah.
he does, but
And I'm pretty sure Elko calls it defense, but
yeah.
even crazier. But
So we've kind of started to put some names together of potential replacements at DC, because we've kind of known for so long that it was obviously not going to be Robb Smith next year. Rich, do you want to talk about some of those names that we've kind of kicked around? Maybe
Yeah,
a
I
few
mean,
of them at least.
we've talked about them on the boards, and specifically on here actually even. Let me just pop it up. But yeah, I mean there's like some obvious ones because Greg's always known for going back to his own coaching tree. So
Yep.
of course he's gonna go right back there. I would say Tem Lukabu is probably another guy to keep an eye on. He's with Jacksonville now, the Jacksonville Jaguars. He was with was it Carolina last year? Yeah, he was Carolina's outside linebackers coach. Boston College DC for a couple years under Halfley. It turned into a solid program. I shouldn't say really good. It turned into a very solid program under Halfley. He was a big reason behind fixing that room. He coached some really talented guys in Carolina. I forget who they were exactly, but he was one of the guys that followed Greg to Tampa when Greg went to Tampa. So experience there, experience as a Power 5 coordinator, Power 4, whatever you want to call it. Went with Greg to Tampa, went with Greg to Rutgers, one of the best linebackers ever to play in Colgate history. Also, linebacker coach. I mean, there's major issue there, so makes almost too much sense. Throwing some other names at a wall, like Seth Wallace is a guy that they kind of reached out to before Robb Smith last year. Iowa assistant head coach, Iowa assistant defensive coordinator, Iowa linebackers coach. Their linebacker unit has been phenomenal under him.
Yeah, for
The
forever.
Yeah, the problem is what the problem is yeah, it doesn't sound right. The problem is that Nebraska's offering him right now as a defensive coordinator. They really want him badly. Iowa's going to try like hell to keep him. He makes 1.1 million right now as an assistant coach.
I was also told Minnesota made a strong push for him last offseason to be their DC, and also that it would not surprise if Pat Fitzgerald tried to tab him as his DC at Michigan State too. This is a guy who I don't know a ton about, why he's so sought after, but he's a young up and coming position coach, likely to get a defensive coordinator role if he wants one in the Big East, in the Big Ten rather next year.
So he's been at Iowa since 2014. Like he has been basically groomed by Phil Parker, who's one of the best defensive coordinators in college football, if not the best. But in terms of his coaching and his linebacker unit specifically, 5 All-Americans since he took over in 2016. There's been a linebacker leading the Big Ten in total tackles in 3 of the last 4 years. Like the guy just develops talent at like a different level completely. So interesting. There's not a connection to Rutgers at all. But he did coach at Valdosta State. And that's all D2, and that's also where David Rowe coached. So maybe there's some kind of pseudo connection there. Kind of just throwing shit at a wall with that one, but they did reach out to him last year. So,
who
This
else
is a
have we kind of talked about? Santucci is a guy that we kicked around, right? Tyler Santucci.
Yeah.
Tyler Santucci, former Duke guy, former Texas A&M guy. He's an Elko guy. Kind of has a similar, I shouldn't say similar coaching tree or coaching experience to Sparber, because he's kind of surpassed Sparber way and above and beyond. Was a linebackers coach at Wake Forest, linebackers coach at A&M, co-DC at A&M, defensive coordinator at Duke in 2023. But the 1 year he left Elko is the really interesting thing. We all know Elko probably calls a defense. He's basically, I don't even know. He's like a Sarkisian of the SEC, but on defense. The 1 year he left he left Elko. He went to Georgia Tech for one single season. Georgia Tech the year before was the worst ranked defense in the ACC. Was the worst ranked rushing defense in the ACC. He took them to the 5th best defense and the 6th best rushing defense. Wow. Rutgers sucks at both of those categories this year, so it makes a little bit too much sense. Now, he also worked with Sparber, so I kind of thought, like, all right, you keep Sparber on, makes a lot of sense. Just bring these two guys together, get them back together, I should say, and then there you go. But so I don't know necessarily if he'll be a candidate this go around. He also left a DC gig at Georgia Tech to go to an assistant coach in the NFL as an inside linebackers coach for the Ravens. So it's a weird one. I don't know why he did that, unless he just can't stand the fact that college sucks now with NIL and everything. So I actually lied, Alec, by the way. Hemphill makes 700. 1.1 mil is who's the guy I just talked about? Seth Wallace.
Okay.
Yeah. So Hemphill's a name. Lyle Hemphill, man. The guy's
Wait,
been
Wallace
the guy
makes 1.1?
Yeah.
Damn. Okay, that's why he stayed. I get it now.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, I guess
we were all in on Hemphill last year. I hope, and
Yes.
given he's been like such an instrumental part of Texas A&M's historic season, I mean, I hope we make a run at him this upcoming year.
I mean,
yeah, I mean, they should be able to pay him more. But does he want to leave what seems like a pretty cushy job in College Station?
with his buddy
Maybe
Elko,
with his
who
mentor,
he's
Elko.
Yeah.
who he's been with since 22. So
I mean, I'll say
he's
this:
from-
like, he's from Delaware, like you were about to say. He's basically coached in the Eastern Time Zone his whole career. West Texas ain't for everybody. So maybe culturally it's not a great fit. I'm just, we're speculating here, but this happens. Brandon Brown has talked about his time at Baylor. It wasn't necessarily his cup of tea, and some guys, it's just not for them. So maybe that's what's gonna happen. Who knows?
Here's an off the Schiano beaten path name that I think we've talked about a few times. That probably won't happen. But how about someone like Vince Kehres, the defensive coordinator? And Richie, I don't know if I was writing while you were talking, but if you brought that up, but the Toledo defensive coordinator. Okay, good.
Yeah.
So this is So Vince, I think I'm saying it right. Kehres, the Toledo defense coordinator, longtime head coach at Mount Union, won a bunch of national titles there. The problem, would that be too much of a passing of the torch of the defense to someone else? At the very least, because he's been a head coach and because he's been a very successful defensive coordinator at Toledo, Schiano in theory would be able to trust him to run things, kind of like how he does with Kirk Shiraka. But would he be willing to do that with the defensive side of the ball? Because we know how much Schiano values that side of the ball. There have been so many stories over the past couple of years about how many guys Toledo's put in the NFL. They're basically a defensive back factory at this point. So I feel like that's got to be a name that at least gets some kind of. You should at least make a call or something like that. Though I'm sure he's gonna get calls from all over the country too. But that has to be a name.
Joe Rossi,
no,
Yankees G, called out as somebody to watch. I mean, he was a guy that was talked about for this job last year. So I sure as hell hope that Joe Rossi is not who we end up with, because he has not necessarily produced the results that we want. I mean, look no further than when we played them last year. We actually absolutely dog walked Michigan State that final game of the year when they had everything to play for. We had bowl eligibility locked up. They were 5-6, and we just demoralized that team with Joe Rossi calling the plays on D. So I sure hope that's who we go with.
He hasn't worked with Schiano, so that I guess that
He hasn't.
means
No, but
something.
he's worked with Chiraka, and that's
When
Yep.
was did he work with Harrison? Because he was at Maine before going to Rutgers.
He did work with Harrison.
Yeah.
He was the defensive coordinator at Minnesota from 2018 to 2023.
Yeah. So he works with both of them, but in reality, I just don't think he's a good name. 105th ranked defense this year, 77th ranked defense last year. Like, it's not a good defense by any means. His
They
best
also
years run at
overlapped.
Minnesota, and that's
Yeah.
like
They also overlapped for a year at Maine as well in 2011 when Rossi was the defensive coordinator and Harrison was the DB's coach.
Okay.
I hope Joe finds a way to get him to Massachusetts.
It seems like Harrison might have to make a lot of changes after an 0-12 year.
Okay, so he had the 4th ranked defense in 2022. But since then, it's been 70, 77, and 104. It's not really convincing me all that much.
We've also hyped up Toledo a bunch, given what they've been able to accomplish. You know, playing one arm behind their back. If you look at all the defensive talent they've produced over the last few years, I think they were 2nd in the nation in yards per play allowed this year, only behind Ohio State. They've got a defensive coordinator named Vince Kehres, who's the DC and linebacker. Did George just say that?
Yeah, he did. Not me, Alec.
Okay.
It's too late.
Yeah,
it's late.
I agree, though.
It's 12:02.
He's been a head coach. Ooh. Importantly, he's been a head coach.
Yes.
I wonder if anyone mentioned that.
Did Alec mention that?
Yeah.
Maybe.
All right.
It's late.
I'll be transparent. I have not slept well the last few days.
Bear with
Don't
us.
worry. We're all in
brain.
agreement that Kehres should be a main name to watch.
Yeah.
We're all
for those of you
there.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know, he was the head coach of Mountain Union D3, won multiple national championships. Mountain Union is like,
I'd hope people know because I said it before.
Did you? I didn't even hear that part. All right, I'm tired
Jeez,
too.
Man, we are.
What'd you compare
on
it
one
to? Because I was
today.
gonna say the Ohio State of D3, but
I mean, I didn't say that
so you
part. I
didn't,
just
so
said
you
he
didn't
won a bunch of.
clarify.
I said he won a bunch of
okay.
national titles at Mountain Union. I mean, great.
Two.
It's after midnight.
He won 2.
Forgive us.
But if you just go down the list of players that he's coached, I mean, he's got 5 guys in his 5 years drafted into the league from his defense.
Just say it already.
Darius Alexander, Quinyon Mitchell.
There you go.
Those were the 2 picks in the first 2 days, but he had a 5th round pick to the Bengals and Tycene Anderson, 7th round pick to the Rams, and Deshaun Johnson. Sam Womack got drafted in the 5th round by the 49ers. I mean, I don't know. It makes a lot of sense, which means it's probably not going to happen. But we just need somebody who's proven. Like, we got to stop hiring coaches just because of relationships with Greg or because of where they grew up. You know, if they grew up within 4 hours of campus, like, we need to just fucking hire people who are proven and stop fucking around with, you know, these young coaches who you might be able to mold into guys down the road. Like, there's a reason why the offense looked a whole fucking lot better this year. And you want to know why? Kirk Soraka. He's been an OC for over a decade. You got Pat Flaherty. He's been a line coach for 20 years in the NFL, 16 years in college. That's why he was good. You got Coach Dave Brock. You know, he's been in 10 years in the NFL, a bunch of years in college. He was a head coach. Like, it's not that complicated. Guys who are good coaches and have done it for a while are going to continue to be good coaches and continue to do it for even longer. Like, I give credit to Greg for the coaches he's found in the past, but he's got a pretty rough track record recently in terms of guys who produce on the defensive side. And at some point, you just got to try something different. I think it's time to try something different. Get out of your comfort zone. Do something that you might be not fully comfortable with. And it's just said comfort zone, but we need fresh ideas on this defense because the last 2 years, it has been more than broken. We have been the worst defense in the Power 4 the last 2 years without even question. Yankees G, appreciate the donation. Can we hire Ashley Smoke Pierre as a position coach?
Love Coach Smoke.
Yeah,
That guy.
I don't know. Is he the high school coach?
He was at Irvington. I think. Yeah, he's in
Okay.
NFL currently, doing like
I
Oh,
thought he
sick.
was at.
assistant stuff.
I thought he was at FDU Florham.
He might be helping out there now.
He's the
Who's
defensive
the,
coordinator at FDU. Yeah.
Okay, so
think
he's there now. Then maybe he did the internship thing with the NFL.
I think
that's what it was.
I think he did like the partnership. type
Yeah.
thing.
Now, he would take a job in a heartbeat at Rutgers. It would have to be an assistant coaching job though. Like he's not going to be one of the recruiters that are getting paid like $40,000 a year. Like it's just not a good job. But if you bring him in, I can guarantee you he will get a ton of talent from Central Jersey, from North Jersey. Like he's got connections all over. He's going to get hired somewhere sooner or later. It's just a matter of time, but it won't be at Rutgers.
This is a good question from I am Lou. Would UMass fire Harris-Simiak? Or better question, would Harris-Simiak say this shit ain't for me anymore at UMass and just leave to become, because we've seen head coaches all across the country leave lower level jobs to be coordinators elsewhere. And Richie, you would know better than I would, but that's a firm no from you.
No, it's not happening. This is his.
Okay.
He loves this. He loves the idea of being a head coach. He did it before at Maine. He's back in his stomping grounds in Massachusetts, where he spent so much time. He's not going anywhere. They're giving him resources too. He needs a quarterback,
Yeah.
and he's got one this offseason, or he will probably get a portal one too.
Yeah.
But
I feel like if UMass was going to fire him, they would have done it already. Also,
that's a good point. This is a great question from Seabrad. Not that it's going to take this long, but how long do you guys think it will take to have a defensive coordinator signed on this time? Because last time, I believe it took a little over 2 months, or right around 2 months.
We thought it was going to be done like 3 different times before it actually ended. So,
yeah, do we want to like kind of rehash what happened last year, just as a refresher for folks?
If you want, do that.
Why not? I'm going to drop the link back into the chat as well if anyone would like to hop on stage with us. But last year, you'll remember, Coach Harris-Simiak left shortly after signing day to become the head coach of the UMass Minutemen.
Correct.
Greg Schiano then immediately contacted Corey Heatherman, who was quickly extended by Minnesota with poison pill language in his contract that if he left to be a defensive coordinator at another Big Ten school, he would owe back a significant portion of his extension. So that effectively killed that avenue. And then, a few weeks later, he leaves to be Miami's defensive coordinator. Then there was a long period of speculation, which we had eventually gotten more names out of. You can kind of pick through it yourself. We mentioned a lot of the guys who were contacted in the offseason last year, from the first part of this chat. But I would guess that at least a dozen coaches were interviewed for the role, if I had to guess. Again, speculating, informed guessing, not just throwing a number out there. And eventually you got to hire somebody, right? And nobody was going to hire Robb Smith away. So that Greg had worked with him before. I'd imagine if we could, be a fly on the wall, there was probably a lot of consternation from Greg about that. I hope there was a lot of soul searching done, that you had the ability to offer a lot of money for a defensive coordinator role and nobody wanted to take it. Now, I've heard the idea floated that NIL might have played a factor in that, where coaches who were potentially interested in the job saw how the budget they would have to work with and didn't think that they could succeed with that budget. I don't think that is the full reason that Greg was having a hard time getting a defensive coordinator who's had success, but that's been floated by people, so I want to just kind of bring it up. But ultimately, I don't know. I think Greg he's got a reputation in the industry of being hard to work with or hard to work for. So I hope that the amount of money he has to offer can, dissuade or, get those concerns past people, because we need somebody who can just take the bull by the horns and lead this defense next year. If we're going to have success, which I think we can, but we need somebody who's proven that they are a good coach on the defensive side of things. But
Yeah. Someone actually just said this in the chat. This is what Kehres, is that how it says it? How you say it? I don't really know. So you can just give him the 7 times the amount of money that comes from Rutgers.
Yeah,
Someone else
what I mean.
probably
Like,
will.
money should not be an issue. It should not be the
No.
reason why we're not getting these guys. Like,
It's not.
I think a lot of them question the talent too. Like,
Yeah, wasn't Harrisimiak also a top 10 paid coordinator along with Shiraka, or at least like top 20-ish?
I think he was at 1.25 last I checked.
he was. His contract was. He was set to make 1.5 by next season.
Yeah, so a little bit less than Kirk, but pretty close.
I found an interesting name that I just kind of stumbled upon. Mike, you might be familiar with this. Name is Joe Bowen, the defensive coordinator / linebacker coach at Buffalo.
You want me to show you my screen?
Are you also looking at Joe Bowen's page?
No, I'm on here specifically because Joe Bowen followed me about 2 hours ago on Twitter. So.
What? Whoa!
I was trying to get there.
Whoa!
Mike just woke up.
Well. Yes, they had the second highest graded linebacker in the MAC in terms of PFF and Red Murdoch. Well, I think Mike was on your portal target list.
Yes, he was.
Yep.
Okay.
And he NCAA record for career forced fumbles.
That's what it was. Yeah. And I mean, this guy Bowen has a lot of he has experience working under Big Ten guys. He was at Michigan State as grad assistant for 2 years, where he worked under Mike Tressel, who's been in the Big Ten forever, brother of Jim Tressel, obviously the Ohio State coach, and also the co-DC alongside Tressel that year was Harlan Barnett, who has also been in the Big Ten for a decade. He was the interim head coach at Michigan State when they fired Mel Tucker. Now he's at Northwestern as the DB's coach, so he could be another up and comer.
The last name Bowen in defense scares me.
Well, actually, I saw a message above from a good friend of mine saying that Shane Bowen's looking for a job nowadays too.
I saw that. Yeah.
But the difference between him and other up and comers, he's actually done the job and had a lot of success doing it.
2024 Football Scoops Linebackers Coach of the Year.
It's funny how these MAC guys just kind of like mingle throughout the MAC. Like all these position coaches and coordinators you see at like a Central Michigan or a Buffalo or a Miami of Ohio, they've all coached like at different MAC schools too, which is kind of funny. And then obviously Rutgers is not unfamiliar with hiring from the MAC, considering Farrell and Campini, how those tenures have gone notwithstanding, they made those hires from the MAC regardless.
Vic Hall, dude.
And Vic Hall, although wasn't he at Penn State?
Pseudo MAC. I mean, he was at the MAC. He was at Ball State for like 4 years before that.
Okay, well, him too. They're not unfamiliar with hiring from the MAC, so I think this could be another solid up and comer, especially considering he has that background coaching linebackers.
It's hilarious that you brought him up, just because I literally have it like the whole. I have this, I have the stats, I have that, and I'm like, oh, I might as well bring him up, right?
Yeah, we're so tired and like out of sync that we're in sync somehow.
It's crazy. It's like we're reading each other's minds.
Or like
we're finishing each other's.
I'm not gonna say it. I don't want
sandwiches.
Half our fan base. But Buffalo's defense saw significant improvement this year. Last year, they averaged 5.6 yards per play allowed in their first season under Bowen. And this year, they allowed 4.9 yards per play. Buffalo gave Wisconsin hell this past season too. It was 7-0 in the fourth quarter. Their defense single-handedly kept them in that game. They forced a ton of turnovers, really confused the shit out of the Wisconsin quarterback, whoever it was at the time, and really just outplayed Wisconsin. And it came down to some attrition by the end of the game. But yeah, he'd be a guy that I'd be really excited about, especially if he could bring Red Murdoch with him, who has 1 year of eligibility, like we kind of alluded to. Because that's going to be huge. Like, having those outside influences also can help you tap into outside talent pools a little bit easier than just trying to recruit them cold,
I guess my other question would be: is do they go strictly defensive coordinator, or is this going to be a shared position? Because
No,
like
enough of that. Like we need a true
okay,
defense.
okay, I'm
coordinator.
just asking questions. Man. Sorry.
Well, I guess it could be a thing. Like Harasimiak was, he was the
He was the linebackers coach his
coach.
last year. The year before that,
Yes.
he was the nickels.
Right, had it been-
Technically,
Yeah.
Smith was the nickels, but they just didn't
Right.
give him the like title.
Oh, are you
Could it
saying
be a
like
thing?
linebackers coach / DC?
That's what I
Right,
meant. Like, yeah,
like
Okay, I'm sorry.
Shiraka,
Yeah,
like
I can see
Shiraka's
that.
the
yeah. No,
offense
we're not
coordinator
doing this
/ QB coach.
ODC nonsense again.
No, I can't imagine that.
Okay, I apologize.
That
That's
Why you went full offensive there.
Yeah.
I guess you've been scarred by
No.
this year. But yeah,
No.
but yeah, I guess it's kind of like the linebackers, the quarterback of the defense, so it could be a thing. Like a lot of offense coordinators are QB coaches.
I guess that my question was, if they're going to hire, like, say hypothetically, it's Joe Bowen. Do you think they also hire a linebackers coach, or do you think Joe Bowen just says, "I'm the linebackers guy"? Like,
I
I
would
don't
say
need
it's
you.
probably closer to the latter because he's developed a lot of really solid linebackers.
Okay.
For at least help develop and coach up a lot of solid linebackers.
Just to clarify, also, most DCs are either linebackers or DBs coaches. Very rarely will you see a D line coach. So we got some names for that too, but they'll pop up later.
Yeah, no, we've Richie's got some notes on basically every position along the defense in case
It's like disgusting.
left.
It's like, are you kidding me? It just keeps going. Like there's too many names.
I've read it. There's a lot of names.
I have a problem.
So we've been talking now for
Half hour,
5 minutes here.
Somehow this visitor number keeps growing too, or view count, whatever.
Well,
what's wrong with you people?
there is a question that just popped up in the chat that I kind of want to.
No, they're not getting Bud Foster. I see that
the
one.
The one above it. That was not the one that I was gonna go after. No,
drop in the link if anyone wants to hop on as well.
Oh, I have to do it. Oh, you can't see it.
Right. Yeah, because I'm not logged. This is the interesting part. Like we kind of touched on. I can't imagine this is the last of the changes. So what happens with Julian Campagna and Charlie Noonan is the question. Are they reassigned to different roles? Are they just straight up let go? I can't really see them just straight up letting go of Noonan this quickly, especially considering he's at least seems like a pretty solid recruiter, and it's part of the reason why they promoted him to the interior D tackles. He's the D tackles coach, I want to say. Yeah. So I can't see them cutting bait just straight up. But Campagna's interesting as well. What do they do with the rest of the staff, particularly at defensive line is the question.
Would he get promoted technically? I know it's weird to say that because he was the interim D-line coach in 2020. He was the assistant linebackers coach in 2022, 23, and 24. So is it potential for him to get a full-time gig? He was a linebackers coach and run defensive coordinator at Lehigh. Was a D-line coach at Holy Cross. So, I mean, the experience is there. Would Greg just say, like, here you go? Like, this is your group now? I don't know.
It's a good question.
It'd be interesting. He's also been at Rutgers for, we're talking forever now. He was also GA under Flood for a couple of years too. So, the connection's there. He's a good recruiter, like we just said. Experience, like it kind of all adds up. And Greg, also, we have to keep in mind, I don't think Greg has ever fired a coach that is a former player. The only one that kind of like left on weird terms was Taekwon, but he left for a different job, like at the same level.
Yep. So, it seems like the things they've at least from my view, it seems like they've kind of patched things up there.
Yeah, as weird as that was.
It's interesting for Farrell's contract is up after this year, but Campagna has another year on his contract. So I guess that's another interesting thing.
Yeah, be curious to see how that one plays out. Just like I said before, the defensive ends have been atrocious. Can't talk.
Yeah, and then Noonan, same thing. His contract expires after next year too.
Yeah, but that one's, you bring him back.
This is a good point. We should probably hit him up. The actual scoop. Yeah.
Can't wait to learn all about the Ivy League defensive coordinators.
All right, there's some fun ones in here. We can answer this one. No.
There's Nick, who's the head coach at DePaul, but I can't imagine he would be a college defense coordinator right away.
Yeah, pretty sure he's an offensive guy too, isn't he?
Exactly. Yeah.
So, and they tried for Ant Camp For
Yeah, and then
those
he
of
was
you
just
that
kind of
don't
there
know.
at Syracuse.
Yeah, he'll go with Ant as soon as Ant gets a head coaching job in the league this offseason.
Who's the other? Vito's still at Bergen Catholic. Obviously,
Yeah.
he's a powerhouse there. That's not going anywhere.
Sexy Rexy on the banks. That'd be something, having both Ryans in the Big Ten conference.
Dude,
boy.
you'd have to issue a warning to women as they entered that if they're wearing sandals, you might have a problem with one of the coaches.
Oh
on staff.
god. Okay.
It'd be cool though, to have but it'll never happen. Let's just
No.
put that out there.
No.
Greg will never in his right mind go for a coach of that caliber. Not even caliber, of that craziness, because that's just like a walking viral moment. Oh, jeez. I'm trying to think of I have a bunch of defensive line coaching names. I don't know if you want to read them on here, if we should read them.
Yeah, go for it.
The more interesting one's probably Chad Wilt. It's actually a coach I've been very familiar with over the years. He's always been at the Rutgers football camps. He was the Army defensive line coach for a couple years. He's currently where the hell is he? I just saw him too. I lost it on my whole list. I just had it. He was Michigan State's edge rusher coach, but he was at Minnesota in 2020 and 2021 under Harris Simiak, who was the co-DC, under who was there? Joe Rossi, who was the DC. So there is and PJ Fleck, of course, knows Greg. Pseudo connection there. A little bit of an older guy, but very experienced veteran. What else I got on here? Luke Carazola, not Paul Carazola. Luke Carazola, assistant D-line coach right now for Rutgers. I don't know if they would promote from within, but he helps out quite a bit with the defensive line. Someone to keep a potential eye on. He wasn't a defensive line coach for UConn before that. Also played at UConn. Who else we got here?
Is that
Brian?
What about McClendon?
Why do I not? I don't have him on here for some reason. Kenny McClendon? Is that his name?
Yeah, Kenny McClendon. He is the UConn defensive line coach.
Oh, K-Mac.
UConn led the FBS in sacks this year, and he also coached on that Valdosta State staff with
You're right.
His name? David
Rowe. Yeah. That's an interesting one. Greg can get the band back together from Tampa if you want to go more experience. Giants assistant D-line coach Brian Cox. Now he's the assistant D-line coach. He's not the first in line at defensive line, but they're working with some damn good defensive linemen in the league. He was Greg's coach in Tampa for 2 years as defensive line coach. Hasn't been in college for we're talking 20 years now, so it's a little bit risky, but also might not have a job after this season. Technically doesn't have a job after this season because they're going to clean house. So, interesting name. Let's see what else I got on here. Penn State defensive analyst Andrew Jackson, former West Virginia D-line coach, very, very good recruiter. Weirdly got let go from West Virginia last offseason. Penn State picked him up immediately. Everyone raved about him. He is a hell of a defensive line coach. I'm a little shocked that they let go of him, but also just helped them kind of revamp that defensive line, helped coach up a true freshman All-American, or probably a true freshman All-American, in Chaz Coleman at Penn State. Dennis Sutton's over there, pretty damn good. And Penn State connection, Big Ten connection, probably also looking for a job. So it just makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of guys out there that just – Randy Shannon's unemployed. If we want to just keep throwing him on the hot board for fun, he's like the new Bob Frazier at this point. It's just oh, yeah, he's got that connection to Greg. Just throw him on the board.
What about Terry Smith, Rutgers defensive coordinator?
Stop. That guy shouldn't be a head coach. I'm sorry.
It's going to be interesting this offseason because there was so much coaching turnover. There's a much deeper and experienced group of coaches to kind of select from, because just because you go and take a job elsewhere doesn't mean you bring everybody with you. Just throwing a name out there
Colin Hitchler.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I was meaning to ask about that
Look
earlier.
at
What's
this
his status with Chesney
Same
going to
Sam.
UCLA?
Same
Is
Sam.
Hitchler going to go with him? What's his status? Do they want to go back to JMU again after what happened this year?
Yeah, because Napier just got hired. I'm sure he has a guy.
There you go. Just put this one.
Hey, that's my outside linebackers coach. Keep your hands off.
I think he has a show cause with the NCAA still.
Yeah,
Does he
probably.
really?
But yeah,
Yes.
James Madison did rank 7th in the country in yards per play allowed. That's kind of what I was going off of, at least kind of
Yep.
looking at. So
And that's surprisingly a pretty steep improvement from last year when they had a good defense as well. They allowed 4.9 yards per play last year. Oh, what about the San Diego State guy, Rich? Ooh, this is okay.
Okay. Yeah, hold on. I'll answer this question
Okay.
after. You go first.
Okay. This is
Connected
everyone
dots.
take a seat. This is some mega mind stuff. So
Oh,
Diego
I know
State.
what
we're
you're
doing this.
talking
We're
about.
doing this now. Oh, we're
Yeah,
going.
this
We're
now.
going to here now.
This
Oh,
is what
boy.
we do
Okay.
off pod, guys. Just so you know.
Yeah,
So San Diego
you
State.
hear us waffle on the podcast. Imagine what we do when we stop the recording.
Yeah, San Diego State had one of the best defenses in the country this year, allowed 4.1 yards per play on the season, which is an improvement from 6.0 last year. Their defensive coordinator, Robb Smith. You might think to yourself, that's an
File
interesting
that
name.
away.
That sounds familiar. Who is that? It is not Andy Ulrich's brother, but I am fairly certain it is his cousin. Also grew up in Minnesota. But he has that San Diego State Aztec defense playing like men possessed this year. So I would definitely be interested in him as well, just as not a name to keep an eye on.
Could bring back Andy Ulrich too. I was told to file that one away in a little note card.
Oh my god.
Share my screen. It's in the queue.
Oh, yeah. Oh, there it is. Andy, the Ulrich card.
Hey, Harvard. I mean, they got bounced in the first round of the FCS playoffs. They had a hell of a year this year.
Never wrong, just early.
Also, Robb Smith just got nominated for the Broyles Award as
Ooh,
the top assistant coach in the country.
should probably just look at that list and look at all the G5 names, basically.
That's a great point. He's also the linebackers coach there.
There you go.
They went from the 97th ranked scoring defense last year to second this season in scoring defense, 114th to 6th in yards per allowed per game, 121st last year to 16th in rushing yards allowed per game, 93rd to 6th this season in passing yards allowed per game. They lead the Mountain West in almost every statistical category on defense, and ranking in the top 20 in a lot of categories on defense as well in the country. I mean, come on.
Yeah, all 15 finalists are Power 5 guys. Corey Heatherman's on there, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not surprising. Looking at there's 63 nominees back on a couple weeks ago. Let's see.
I think Kirk was on there.
He was, yes.
Trying to think who else.
San Diego State, Robb Smith, and nominee, like we kind of already just talked about. I'm now realizing. Let's see.
Now you did it. Now you're the one repeating.
Bowen not listed, but maybe that helps Rutgers so that he's more under the radar, so that Rutgers may be able to hire him because he wasn't listed as a nominee.
Oh, jeez.
Keep him under the radar.
The radar.
Yeah.
How I
Head
do
gross.
It's
A couple questions in here real quick. Bucket got my Robb Smith card in my wallet now. That's a good one. So I was trying to answer this before I was rudely interrupted. I'm just kidding. Coach Watson is actually assistant coach with West Orange High School. He is trying to get back into the college level. I don't think it would be at Rutgers personally. I think he'd probably start out at the lower levels and then kind of work his way back up. But he is doing better. He's doing a lot better, just so everyone knows. What else are we on here?
What other names do we kick around?
Absolutely not. And I love Drew Lascari, but he is not ready for this at all. Like, no defensive coordinator experience. Well, he actually has a coordinator experience as an offensive coordinator at Don Bosco. Now we're just throwing shit at the walls. I love it.
Ash, oh my god.
I saw Kyle Flood. He's actually did you see the top donor for UConn, Mark D'Amelio? Yes, related to those D'Amelios, the father. tweeted out his list of top names for the UConn job, and number 1, Kyle Flood.
Whoa, that's
Yeah.
a big
Wow.
endorsement there.
Who
Does
broke
that
the
mean he-
news that Flood was interested in the job?
Does that mean he reads the boards on the UConn report?
I guess so. Someone
Don't
has
they have
to,
their
right?
own like competing site or something?
Probably.
They do, yeah. They have a site that's like strictly like NIL based. It's weird how it works. I don't want to even like reveal how it works because I don't want to ruin my other site.
That's fair.
Joe Judge, no. Chris Ash, he is a defensive coordinator in college football right now. I don't think it would ever happen.
Didn't everybody hate him though?
Yeah, it's the guy that has me blocked on Twitter still. Yeah, fuck him.
I wonder what Andy Boo is up to these days.
He's actually unemployed. I actually looked into him a little bit recently.
Oh my god, please no.
One of the worst press conferences of all time. I remember he said something to Cratch. He went back at Cratch after a question about the linebackers. I think it was. It was hilarious. He was like, "Well, what would you do with the linebackers?" And it was just like, "You're the coach. I don't fucking know. You're getting paid $1 million."
Yeah. Isn't he in Maryland last year or something?
Illinois, I believe.
Yeah.
There's like weird like Ash staff members that somehow have latched on. Oh, you know where Andy Boo is? You'll never guess. Defensive senior analyst.
Notre Dame.
Yep.
I feel like we went through this at some point, but yeah, it's not surprising.
Yeah, that's crazy. Try to steal Aaron Henry from Illinois. I doubt it, but
yeah, no, thank you. I can't stress it enough. Like Schiano needs to just go hire somebody who's done a good job last year and this past season that has proven that they know what they're doing in defending modern offenses.
Also, the result of the game when Rutgers and Illinois actually played might have been a little bit misleading. Illinois' defense was abject disaster this year.
Yeah, awful.
Like that was the talking point heading into that game. Which defense is going to make the last play to clinch it?
That was the only game this year that they played even remotely close to well on defense, and it just happened to be against us.
I feel like if you had to guess, actually, let me ask you guys this because I know my thoughts on it. If you had to guess right now, is it an experienced veteran or is it up and comer?
It's got to be an experienced veteran. Like
really, I think so. I was going to say opposite.
If when I say experienced veteran, it has to be a sitting defensive coordinator or head coach at a college football program. Like if it's not, then what's the point of even firing these guys? Like we need somebody who can just do the job.
Robb's clueless, so it was more like anyone could walk in. I feel like I could have walked in and said, "Ask Madden" every time and called it better. Hey, Sparber, what do you think? What should I run?
Who's the guy on Indiana, Rich, who is the safeties coach, I believe?
Oh, Ola Adams.
And you want to talk about him? Oh my God, who said that?
The Robb Morris card.
I don't know. I don't want to really dox him, but one of my
okay.
buddies that's watching. But
is it the same one who said in the chat that they have their Robb Morris card already ready to go?
Oh, I didn't even see someone say that.
Yeah.
I missed that. Oh, anyway, Ola Adams is an interesting one. He doesn't have G5 coordinator experience. He doesn't have Power 4 coordinator experience. I believe that is actually. Yes. Yeah, so Ola Adams was a really, really good defensive coordinator at Villanova. There was a lot of talk about him being poached for a assistant coaching job at Penn State a couple years ago, potentially the DC job even, because that thing opened up like every other year, it seems like. Very good coach, went to the Denver Broncos, spent some time there as a DB's coach, went back to Penn State as an analyst, and then went to Indiana as a safeties and DB's coach. And his time at Villanova is really what stands out. He's a 35 under 35 coach for that, the American Football Coaches Situation or Association. I can't talk. But their secondary was specifically what was really good in his time at Villanova. So it's Villanova, so it's really a high risk, but he has NFL experience. He was really good. The DBs were really good in the Broncos, but the Broncos defense is good like every year now. Got them to the playoffs in FCS multiple times, top 25 in the playoffs. Also has experience on offense. So I don't know if that really helps or hurts, but to steal one of Kurt Cignetti's guys and make him a defensive coordinator, I feel like on a national scene at least looks pretty damn good. So,
sure.
And then I mean Indiana's safeties are pretty fucking good too. Which I mean their whole defense is good, but so it's a name, nothing more than that really.
Yeah, so we'll have a full list out for you guys soon. Richie's still pruning it, like we said, but those are a lot of the names that we've kind of been floating around to one another as we kind of thought about what life would look like without Robb Smith. And, you know, we did the same exercise last year, which is like, you know, I feel like Lucy is looking at me, you know, saying, okay, kick it, go ahead. You're good this time. I'm not going to pull it away. So if it does end up being somebody like Joe Rossi, like I don't think Greg understands like how fed up we like a lot of Rutgers fans are with like just hiring, you know, getting, you know, the band back together who didn't know how to play all the songs for it's like a Beatles cover band that didn't know how to play like any of the songs the Beatles actually played. We just can't get that band back together. You got to get some new blood. Look at what happened when the last time you added significant new blood. Joe Harris-Simiak, excuse me, Joe Harris-Simiak, a defensive coordinator. 2023 was maybe the best defense in the last 15 years at Rutgers.
Mm-hmm.
Got to get back to that. We just can't keep doing the same thing of bringing back people who didn't work out here already.
But that was an up and comer technically.
He was a head coach, but by the time he was 30, he was clearly
yeah. But that
like
was at Maine though. Like that's at like such a lower level. I'm talking like up and comer as in like a guy that's never done the DC job at the Power 5 level or G5 level.
I mean, I don't remember exactly.
He was co-DC in safeties.
So he's 39 right now.
Yeah.
Right. He was a DC by the time he was in his 20s and he was in FCS DC. He was 20. Let me see here. He was 28 when he got hired as the DC at Maine. He was the head coach by the time he was 30.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like, would you be okay with it being a guy that's doesn't have Power 5 DC experience?
Yes, I would.
Okay.
If it was like a resume like his, like I think we didn't really fully appreciate kind of what he was when he got here. Like a 30-year-old head coach who had success. He got Maine, who's not the strongest program in the world, to like the FCS semifinals his last year there as the head coach. Like that is like a top 5 team. That's really impressive.
Ridiculous. And now he's gone. Give it 2 years, and then we can put Robb Smith back on the hot board. Maybe put Joe Harris-Simiak on the hot board.
Oh boy. I'm also looking at. Someone said something in the chat about LSU. I'm also trying to see if they have any position coaches or with like a lot of experience or anything like that. It's kind of hard to find looking back at some of their prior coaching staffs. Yeah. So
I don't think. Like everyone keeps saying,
might get a head coaching job, so obviously he's not. Oh no, I was just kind of capitulating. I don't. I'm trying to find like someone. I don't. But then it's
I hate that everyone says this because like it's not gonna happen. Like people have to, and yes, she's gonna help out quite a bit. Yes, Tate's gonna help out quite a bit, but that's the thing. It's not. Yeah, he's not gonna like. Greg's not gonna walk in and be like, "Hey, Kelly, who do you want to be the DC?" Oh,
yeah,
him. I'll think about it. Like, no.
Yeah. At this point, we've exhausted a lot of names, so it's kind of just throwing shit at a wall. So just to see if there's like any kind of extra connection, I guess. I don't know.
I know. I get it. But we have people on the boards and people keep asking like, oh, why isn't like, or is Kelly going to help with the search? Is she going to run the search? Like, no, it's still Greg's program. Like, that's how it works. It's Greg's choice. You think like, want me to walk in and tell you like, hey, this is your right-hand man, Alec. You now have to work with him for the rest of your life. Or until his contract runs out. Like, no.
Howie Roseman does it. Jeffrey Lurie does it.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to do it. I don't think Kelly's going to do it, though.
Right. Yeah.
No.
I don't know.
We got another donation from Yankees G94. Thank you very much for the donation. They ask, when do you expect to hire, before the transfer portal or after? I'm going to put an over-under for you guys at 20 and a half days. Oh, let's just make it Christmas. So Christmas is in 20 days. Will we have a defensive coordinator under the tree on Christmas morning, or will we have to wait until after Christmas?
I'm going to say no. I mean, this might be because I'm still feeling burned from how last year went, but I don't think so. I mean, at the very least, they won't have to worry about like bowl stuff. So I guess that helps because that was the thing last year. They had to worry about all the bowl stuff. Schiano had to be the defensive coordinator. But I'm going to say no, anyways. I think this is going to be a pretty lengthy process. I mean, I don't think it'll drag along as long as it did last year, like well into January and all that. But I'll say like, I don't know, ballpark like the week after Christmas, like the winter break week after Christmas.
So
Yeah.
between Christmas and New Year's is what you're saying.
That's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Because at the very least, they have more. They don't start the off season on December 26th this year. It's already started. So
How about you,
Completely,
Rich?
completely agree with Alec. I think it will be post Christmas, pre New Year's. It's right before the portal opens on January 2nd. You can kind of sell kids on that and be like, hey, this is our DC. Hey, this is our D line coach. Hey, this is so and so. Now, they really won't start hosting junior days almost immediately after the New Year calendar, too. So that's going to be another thing where you introduce the up and coming classes too, and be like, hey, this is your position coach, blah, 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 blah. So I think you'll be right before the transfer portal period. So probably around like, I would say December 28th, 29th. But knowing Greg, maybe 11:59, December 31st.
I think we will have one by Christmas, and here's why. You alluded to it already. They had, excuse me, they had, not only did they have bowl prep, they had to, on the fly, coach up the defense without their defensive coordinator of the last 3 years. And so that just probably sucked a lot of time and effort from the coaching staff. They literally have nothing to do football prep wise anymore. So they have a lot more time than they did last year. Not that they're not busy, because they are incredibly busy getting recruiting together for the portal, but I think they will have a defensive coordinator in place by Christmas. So I will dissent a little bit with the group here. But this is another good question from Chopper 77 US. What do you think the salary range will be for the new defensive coordinator? I think this will be contingent on the quality of candidate that Greg can attract. If Greg could get, I don't know, who do you guys have as like the best defensive coordinator in college football?
Phil
Or just throw a
Parker.
good one at me. If Greg had Phil Parker on the line and Phil says, yeah, I want to work for you, just got to make sure the money's right. Whatever that money being right needs to be, Greg will have, in my opinion. Now, it's all also contingent on that person agreeing to come be a defensive coordinator for Greg Schiano. I think David Anderson was the one who threw this out, but like from a like psychology standpoint, like there's really only you could only really go one direction with this defense in terms of being brought on as the defensive coordinator. Like an improvement from like, I don't know what we were across the board, but let's say we were like 125th in total defense. If the new defensive coordinator can get us to 85th next year, that's something you can sell. Even if objectively you did a poor job, you can say, I took arguably the worst defense and made them basically average. So I do think there will be a more attentive candidate pool this offseason, especially with the commitment from the top down in the university to actually make the team successful. What do you guys think with salary range?
I'll go with 1.3 million. Because Smith and Sparber combined this year to make
I like that.
1.45. So I'll go with 1.3. Like going for someone that's one guy, pay him a little bit less, but still a really solid amount for that one guy.
Yeah, I agree with Anthony here. I think 1.2 to 1.5, probably same what you just said, basically. Similar range. Probably a little bit less than Kirk. Kirk's going to get a lot more because Kirk's offense has been kicking on all cylinders now. Is there a Kirk Shiraka like DC out there? I don't know. I don't think so. Not that I could think of off the top of my head, but I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what happens with this this team. It's going to be really interesting. Some crazy questions in here. Just reading them. Statements.
I just saw Football Scoop released a another article. LSU is apparently going to hire Elijah Robinson away from Syracuse.
Yeah,
A lot
Interesting.
of crazy shit going on around Syracuse right now.
Yeah, they somehow got Calvin Russell signed, which I just don't know how. Yeah, basically, honestly, that's what it sounds like, because it sounded like he was all Michigan yesterday. So who knows? But
Yeah, according to that article, it says that LSU is looking for Robinson to focus on the defensive line, which is, I mean, makes
that's
sense.
his bread and butter.
Yeah.
So. January 2nd to January 17th, I believe it is. 15-day portal window. Just going to answer a couple questions here. We should get someone from the Big Ten. There's not a lot of guys out there. It's Joe Bowen. Done.
There we go.
Simple. This is ironic because the best player on defense this year was the JMU transfer at defensive end.
I
Yep.
feel like Dengoe was solid, at least when he was healthy, too.
Yeah,
It's
and
like
that's
a
the other
versatile guy.
thing. Like, he wasn't healthy all year, which kind of cooked
Yeah.
him. So JMU transfers were not the problem. It was the UNLV transfer. It was the guys that you recruited for 5 years on the interior that stink. That I rant about every week about how that defensive tackle room is atrocious. I can't talk. Linebacker play completely regressed. We could talk about that too. And those two guys were also guys you recruited for 4 years, 5 years, and you had. So maybe the problem isn't the transfers. Maybe the problem is the guys you didn't develop. Just saying. Argument about Kaj Sanders. There's about 7 Kaj Sanders comments. Wow. Bo Masco is our best defensive player by a mile. I wouldn't go that far. He got torched quite a few times this year. I think he's the best cornerback. Right? Argue? No argument?
Yeah, I mean,
Cam Miller stepped up towards the end.
A lot of guys had moments this year, both good and bad. Like, remember how hyped we are about Jacoby Henderson after like 3 games, and then
he became a holding machine.
Yeah. Bo Masco had that really awesome pick 6 against Miami of Ohio. Or maybe it wasn't. Was it a pick 6, or was it just like brought?
He took it back into the red zone.
Okay.
They scored on the drive anyway, so.
Yeah, I mean, they all at points made some really nice plays. Cam Miller, I think, made some strides as the season went on. He was kind of a punching bag early on in the season, but I don't think there is a standout guy, to be honest with you, at the corner right now.
I have this interesting question, I guess, specifically. Because someone asked me this on the boards. Do you think they'll run 3 corners again next year, or do you think they'll go 3 safeties? I feel like you have to go safeties, right?
So David Anderson and I talked about this on our potential portal target pod. And if we had 3 NFL level corners again, I'm fine doing a 3-corner base.
Yeah.
But if we don't, I think I would prefer the 3 safety look, because it gives you a little bit more versatility. You're not giving as much size to tight ends, and I don't know. I think I would prefer that, but that's just me. But we don't even have 2 safeties right now who could start. So
DK Gilly comes back.
Yeah, but he's never played a snap, right?
That's fair. Chris Joins was hurt all year. He'll be back.
I thought he was only a 1-year guy.
2-year guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know why or how, I forget, but I have it. I did this eligibility scholarship chart that I put together years ago. With COVID and everything, it was like ridiculous to put together because they don't list them correctly on the board on their site either. It drives me nuts. Anyway, let's see. Anything else in here before we really sign off? Someone said Colin Hitchler is not being taken to UCLA.
Yep, that's huge. He'd be a good target.
Now he's got Alabama ties, Cincinnati, South Alabama.
And it worked out pretty nicely the last time we hired a defensive coordinator coach who was a defensive coordinator at JMU.
You are right. You see his name being mentioned for G5 jobs? I thought that was interesting.
I didn't see that, but it doesn't surprise me. The guy can coach ball.
Yeah. Shame he never got a chance to be the DC at Rutgers.
Yeah.
Hitchler joined. Oh, he has Wisconsin ties, Big Ten ties. Co-DC at Wisconsin in 2023. I don't think they were very good, but left Wisconsin to go to Bama for the same position. It's a good sign. I got one more thing before I'm assuming we're signing off in a couple minutes. One more thing. Sounds like Penn State might have fucked up again.
No, let's go.
Yeah, it's according to our friends at the Cyclone Report, Iowa State's website. Definitely check them out because you have access to every single message board on the On3 network. When you sign up for one of them, you get all of them. You can't reply on the other sites, but you can read it, and that's the best part about it. Sounds like he's pretty confident Matt Campbell is going to stay at Iowa State.
Let's go.
Would be hilarious.
The egg is just continuing to get all over the Penn State faces. You really hate to see it. Such a great group. Oh man, you hate to see them not have good things happen to them.
He said, I'm getting a report from one source who talked to several former players, current players, and people that are still involved in the program who have played on entirely different Iowa State teams under CMC, Coach Matt Campbell. And they are all saying Matt Campbell's not going anywhere.
I mean, let's be honest. Matt Campbell has had many opportunities to leave over the years, better situations than
More
the
money.
one currently at Penn State, and he hasn't left. He doesn't have an agent. He
Even the
represents
Jets.
himself. Yeah, he could have been an NFL head coach a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you want to go to this absolutely radioactive situation at Penn State? Because, I mean, is there a bigger detachment from reality in terms of expectations from a fan base right now than Penn State? Like, you're not going to have a roster. You don't have a recruiting class. Everything's going to have to come from the portal. Like
Jackson Ford and Peyton Falzone is a
that's
recruiting
true.
class.
That's true. You got
a recruiting
two
class.
guys.
One of them's pretty good. One of them's
interesting.
tight end.
Apparently, there's leaked audio of a Pat Kraft players only meeting.
I need to hear this.
I need to hear this. See, Brad, drop the link. Drop the link, brother. Don't gatekeep this.
Also, I saw some people asking about Gabe Winovich. He's at Rhode Island now. Just to put that out there, I saw some people asking. He played 79 offensive snaps this year. So, yeah.
I mean, Stephen Barber asked, would you rather have an elite offense but a horrible defense, or an elite defense but a terrible offense? I mean, we've experienced both. Neither are fun. I would rather have neither of those. Why can't we have both, like the GIF says? But if I had to pick, if you're saying pick one or I'm going to shoot you in the head, it'd be an elite offense and a terrible defense, because it's just you have a better chance of winning games.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I feel like there's a better chance you can at least just keep scoring.
Yeah, there's a wider pathway to consistently winning games.
Because I mean, defense, like, you're always going to get some lucky turnovers. You're going to have, a quarterback throw it off his offensive lineman's head and, it bounces straight up in the air. You're not going to have you're not going to have your quarterback throw it off your, offensive lineman's helmet and your receiver catch it 50 yards down the field for a lucky score. Like, defense, the rules are tilted towards offenses anyway, so you might as well have a better unit there.
You need to hear. Everyone keeps saying Jim Knowles, and just let's put that one to rest.
No, thanks. No, thank you. I mean, he's a very good defensive coordinator, but all the word coming out of like Penn State, like when T. Frank came on the podcast, he mentioned that things were just way too complex. Especially not for a 1-year rebuild thing. No, I don't think that would work.
I found the video, by the way. It's a little like distorted.
I don't think we should play it on here.
No, we don't have to do that. That's not necessary. But if you guys are bored, I'm gonna put it in chat.
Oh my gosh.
Do we know if it's like actually real?
It's not a video, just audio.
But do we know it's actually all right. This wasn't just posted by a random person. This is like
no.
Please tell me it's like the Mel Gibson freak out. She took my Lakers ticket.
I didn't listen to it yet, but
it's
like a lot of people
minutes.
it's him talking to the team.
Brother.
Like, I'm not listening to all that, but
2 times speed.
Some people are trying to say like I'm a big fan of Pat Kraft now, but a lot of other people are like No.
Despite the wiretap violation. Jeez. Yeah. I'll listen to that as I go to bed, maybe. But
Yeah.
speaking of going to bed,
Probably put you to
we've been
sleep.
on for an hour and 15 minutes. You are
But our
a
views are
bunch of
climbing.
true sickos. Got 700 people in here at 1 a.m.
Ooh, contest.
Oh, yes, we are still running our contest. For those of you who do not know and are not every pod listeners, first off, shame on you. Second off, if you want to get in on our giveaway, we're giving away 4 prizes. We got a LeGrand coffee gift card. We got a signed Geo Baker basketball card. We got a jersey of your choice, whether it be college or NFL, as long as it's a former or current Rutgers player. And we also got a year of the Night Report. We're giving away all 4 of those things just because we love you guys and girls. The way you can get in this contest, you can take a screenshot of your Spotify Wrapped, of your YouTube Wrapped, whatever they call it on YouTube, the thing that just got released that shows your most viewed channels and viewed shows. If you take a screenshot of that, or if you take a screenshot of Apple Podcasts to prove you've given us a 5-star review, or Spotify on our podcast to prove you've given us a 5-star review, you can get up to 3 entries, 2 for the reviews and 1 for showing us that you are you have us in your top grouping of either podcasts or on YouTube. So that is the way to get involved. You could enter once, you could enter twice, or you could enter 3 times with those screenshots. Tag us on Twitter with your post to show you those screenshots, and that'll get you entered. And then at the end of the month, right before Christmas or right after Christmas, we'll do our drawing, and that'll be our way of saying happy holidays and thank you very much for being a loyal listener. We're also very close to 6,000 subs on YouTube, so we'd really appreciate you guys following us on there, subscribing on there. That's all we got. I want to thank you all for listening, sticking around with us on a weeknight at 1 a.m. to talk Rutgers coaching changes. But for me, Alec, and Richie, this has been another edition of the Night Report podcast, signing off.